Give us an update on any team news or any injury worries after the international break.
Until now, nothing new. As you expect, some players have just arrived for the session this morning. More that players they played last Tuesday night, and they just arrived. They did a normal recovery from the match. I'm talking about Manor, Harry Wilson, Daniel James as well. Tomorrow we are going to have all the group together. But until now, not bad news in terms of injuries.
Sure, and if you don't mind, just in regards to yesterday's statement, are you hoping that Aleksandar Mitrovic's apology will maybe placate the FA into giving him a smaller punishment?
We did that statement is not because that really. We first of all we did a mistake because we did the statement because we have to do I think is something that we didn't do straight away after the match because we wanted firstly to speak and to have a meeting if you can have with the referee and of course with someone more in the meeting. Of course, Mitro had the international duties, as you know. Chris Kavanagh had the international duties as well, and of course that was the moment that we had the chance to speak with them. And after that, we made the statement. The statement was almost ready for that, but we wanted to do it after the conversation with Chris Kavanagh. And the statement is clear. We made a mistake in that moment. Mitro made a mistake as well, and of course we regret from the situation, and we have to do it. And we have to apologize, not just the situation Chris Kavanagh, all the fans, our fans, the people that loves football as well, because after a so good performance from ourselves and that 72 minutes that we were really good at very good level as well, and that moment and that incident made a huge impact in the game.
And it kind of waits to be seen what will happen with that punishment. But what is for sure is that Mitrovic will miss the next 3 games. How big a miss will that be for you?
No, it's a really important play for us, as you know. I think he's being showed that from the first day of the season, last season, even more. And so the number of goals he scored and how he was important for us. And this season is being at very good level. He had some downs with that bad injury in the national team in the September-October international break that make him to drop a little bit and lose some important matches, and he lost that matches. But I have to say that, and I'm always repeating that, we are not just a team player, we are much more than that. Of course he's important, like some of the others, they are important because that is always playing, or almost always playing in the starting 11. But it's a chance for the other one to come in, to pop up and to show the quality and to get the chance. And this is football, because that we don't have just 11 players, you have more than that, and let's hope the player that is going to play in his position can perform well and can help the team.
And on a personal level, how difficult will it be for you to not be on the touchline on Saturday?
Now, I will be on the touchline on Saturday, and after let's see what is going to happen, but if nothing happens tomorrow, I'll be on the touchline on a Saturday, but okay, he will not be on the Saturday, will be probably after that. It's always tough for any manager to not be on the touchline. It's what we love, it's what we like to do, to be with our players, to be there involved every time in the game. But okay, it's what is going to happen. I regret from the situation, and if I have to be in the stand, I will be in the stand. I will do my job during the week and before the match and half time to prepare as better as I can my players.
And what kind of tactical challenge are you expecting from this Bournemouth side?
Will be a tough game to play, 100% sure. We are talking about a tough place to go always for any team in this competition. It's always tough. We know that they are in a position, they are fighting really to go out of that positions, and they have been achieved some good results last few games. They have been being really difficult team to beat against any team in this league the last few games as well, and will be a tough one. We know that they lost the last game, like we did as well, and we want to show a reaction like they are going to be at home. I have to say that they did it well in the last January market as well. Okay, some players they come and they improve, gave them more solutions in the attack line as well, in my opinion, and they are strong. They are not just the players they are going to start. Even when they have to change something from the bench, they have the solutions now to have an impact in the game. And we know, we played against them last season in Championship as well. They were always competitive matches. This season at Cottage was the same, a really competitive match, and will be the same next Saturday. And we have to be at our best level. The good thing, and of course is important for for me and our players, they know as well. After the Brentford and Arsenal match, our performance, the level of our performance improved clear for the Man United match. I know that was a different one, was FA Cup match, was the quarters final as well. The motivation and desire was there, but I saw big improvements from the previous games, and it's important for us to keep that standards to play at our best level because we'll be tough.
And I think it's fair to say that your side have probably exceeded a lot of people's expectations this year so far. How do you continue to keep the players motivated to continue to surprise people?
Well, we have to. I think is something natural. Is something that inside our dressing room. Of course, we have up and downs like all the teams in this competition. I'm talking more about in a performance wise. This is the thing. But of course, the ambition, the desire, the will to go always to match the opposition sides has to be always there. And it's the way you train. It's the way you prepare the players every single day. And if you do it in a daily basis, of course, it's something natural on a match day, and it's going to be the same. And okay, answer direct to you. It's like, it's not obligation. It's our nature as a players, as a group, and the demand comes from myself and my staff as well. Is for us to have to be always working at our best level, because Premier League is really tough and demand a lot from ourselves, and very good to have ambition, and is not something that we have to look back. Okay, we are in a good position. You are surprising everyone. Let's be relaxed. No, we have time to relax when the Premier League will finish.
Thanks a lot.
Hi Marco. Just going back to the Manchester United game and the FA charges. I understand you've requested a personal hearing with the FA. Can you explain what the thinking is behind that?
No, it's a normal situation that we have the chance to ask a personal hearing, and it's going to happen soon. Is what we can say about that situation right now.
Aleksandar Mitrović, obviously, he's apologised, says he's accepted his 3-match ban. In a lot of places, hearing people, even the Referees Association, saying he should get a 10-game ban or half a season and so on. Do you think they've maybe gone a bit overboard in making those suggestions?
Now, what I can talk, of course, I will not talk about suggestions and comments on this situation. Of course, I'm the first one that I like to look for ourselves, to look for me, to look for my players, and don't look for the comments in this situation. Of course, everyone has his role, and if the things happen, the people should comment. I think it's a normal situation. What I can tell you that I'm the first one to criticize myself when I do something that I'm not happy with. To be happy with myself when I do something, and with my players is the same. Mitro knows what is my talks about that situation, what we should do in a different way. First of all, myself, and of course him about the comments. I think it's not important to talk in this moment. I know that was a lot of noise after that match during some days as well. It's not important to myself to start to comment what the people have said about that situation.
In his statement, Aleksandar said he'd volunteered for a club fine. Can you confirm if there has been a fine and a club punishment, any further punishment, or is it that just a club fine?
No. Of course, it's something that we like to keep internal, and we'll keep internal in our football club.
And just in terms of what happened at Manchester United, you're only just getting the players back now since then. Have you had talks about the way things transpired on that occasion, and just reminding them of how they need to keep their heads and so on? And is it something you're addressing?
Yes, I did straight away after the match. I did. Of course, it's a different moment that you have 2-3 days to think, to analyze, to see everything again, and to go. Of course, but I have to tell you that I did it straight away after the match with the players in that moment. That was a difficult one for us to take, definitely. And of course, not with all the players, of course, with the players that they stay with us. After 2 days, when we started the week after the Man United match, we did it. And of course, today was the first day that I had all of them together again, and we spoke about it again. I think is a normal situation if you want to improve from some situations, and we talk about everything, not just about that incident. Of course, that incident is important to talk, but about the performance, about everything what we have done in that game, and about the incident as well, because it's something that we did it wrong, and we have to improve from that moment.
Of course, you've had the break since then, but some players were still here. How have you been able to use this sort of 2-week break, while some have been away, but you still had players to work with? Has it been useful, beneficial for you coming into these last sort of 10, 11 games of the season?
No, it's always important. It's always important. That moment, that 60 seconds moment, didn't affect our team at all.
No, but just in terms of this preparation that you've had now, in terms of getting ready for the run into the season.
It's a good thing. Yes, I know what you asked me, but you know that we have good number of players in the international duties. That is a good thing for us. In one way, it's not so good for me to work with. I have probably 11 players maximum to work last 10 days. But it's a good thing for us as a football club. We have the players around Europe, around the world, playing international games, and that is a good thing. Show the quality, show the work we have been doing, because some of the players they were called back for the national teams right now. That means that with the work we have been doing with them is really good. Okay, Len is a good example. He was called back for the national team. To see João Palhinha, for example, to start 2 games in the starting 11 of the national team of Portugal is a very good thing for us. To see the others, Harry Wilson again starting 11, all the others, DJ and many players that they play in a good level during these last 2 weeks. That is a good thing for us. In the opposite way, I didn't have all of them with us to work, to prepare well, but the players, they were here with me. They work really well. They work hard, and the environment was good, and you are ready to go again.
And just finally from me, in terms of Bournemouth, you've drawn with them this season, you drew with them last season. There wasn't much between the two of you in the Championship. What's been the difference this season that they find themselves fighting relegation, whereas you guys are looking at Europe? Can you see a difference between the way things have gone?
I think it's not fair. I can talk about ourselves and what we have done so far. That is the thing. I think I agree with you. Really competitive matches last season. They did it really well last season. I have to say that it was fair for them to get the direction promotion as well. Of course, we got the title, but because they played well, then they did it well. And they are in a normal fight. I think is for the clubs that they got the promotion. I think is a normal thing to be fighting to remain in Premier League. That is, I think is normal. And to be honest, is what everyone expected. Teams that they got the promotion to be fighting to remain in Premier League. About ourselves and them, or to compare, I think is not fair. It's not for me to comment as well. What I know and I recognize, very good quality on them.
That's great, thank you.
Are there any further TV questions before we move to radio? And we're all good. So, BBC Sport.
BBC Sport, hi there. I'll start with the incident at Manchester United. I know you've spoken about it a little bit before, but the BBC has also focused a lot on grassroots level, and I just wondered if the players within the club are aware of their responsibility, of their actions, and how that has an impact on a grassroots level and potential abuse of referees and things like that. Is that something you're aware of in the professional game?
We know our responsibilities, all of us we know. Managers at this level, players at this level as well. We know that we should be an example for everyone in that is watching on TV, that they are in the stadium supporting both teams as well. And we know that we should behave as an example. Of course, in some moments we should control better our emotions, and was a good example in that game. But of course, we know our responsibilities as well, and we know what we should do or not.
Obviously, 3 red cards. One of them was for yourself. As a manager, asking his team to keep their heads and keep discipline going forward, does that make that harder for you now? As one of the people who got sent off?
No, because my players, they know myself really well. That is the first one, and they know clear the manager they have here, managing the football club. And about my players, it's not easy for me to ask them something, because they know when I ask them something is always to make them to improve, is always to make them to be better, is always to make them to protect the club as more as they can, and it's easy to demand from them.
Okay, let's focus on the positives, because it's been a brilliant season for Fulham. Going forward, I guess the focus is still on these European places. If you don't get Europe, how do you sum up the season? Because it's still been a success in many ways, even if you don't finish top 6.
Good question from yourself, and if you are trying to make the season not so good, if in any case we are not going to finish in some spots that no one that is in his room in the beginning of the season expected that will be even chance for us, because all of you, and I think it's fair you make us like the favorites to go down. And now you are asking one thing completely different to be if the season will be good or not if you don't get certain spots in the table. Okay, let's see. Let's finish the season and after I can answer to you about that. Okay?
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Remove radio. Ian Abraham to talk sport.
Hi.
This will complete the broadcast section here, and then we'll move on to the writers, and we'll ask you to switch your cameras off.
Marco, first of all, how disappointed are you that what happened at Old Trafford, in a way, took away from what was a magnificent Fulham performance for 70-odd minutes and actually could have seen you get us to an FA Cup semi-final?
Is what hurts me more and my players and as a football club. I think is something we know how we were brilliant until that moment. We know how we were so good, and after some hours, no one speaks more about the most important thing that was the game. I know that is one reason there is one incident, and of course I accept. I already spoke to you about what is my feelings and how I regret about that situation. But of course hurts myself because I told my players, and I have to say for our fans as well, they have to be proud of the way the team has been playing and the way the team performed during that match. Of course, in that moment, in that incident, the game was decided. To be honest, even if that moment we were winning 1-0 with two players down and with the penalty, everything changed straight away. But of course we have to be proud, and of course it's difficult probably the most difficult one for us to take this season was that game. Even if you had some ones like Man United at home is a good example. We lost in the last minute of the match, a match where we were better than them as well, and playing at Old Trafford quarters final of FA Cup, the way we were the better team on the pitch, but clear in terms of quality, character, the desire. Controlling the game every time, and most of the game in control with the ball, was really good. Unfortunately, is this type of things that we have to learn from, and for us to give that step for that level that you want.
No one seems to have mentioned Willian's role here. He was sent off. He must have been really disappointed. Yet within his own mind, he had the presence of mind to go back and stop Aleksandar getting into even more trouble.
Willian is being a top player for us, not surprise, and his performance until that minute was top level. Probably what he's been okay. We collectively perform really well. Some players individual as well at very good level, and Willian was one of them for sure. From the first minute till that moment, and the quality on the ball that he is always giving us, always doing what we have prepared for the game, what I have asked him to do. On the ball, off the ball, his work rate off the ball was magnificent. And it's a really important play for us. Of course, in that moment, was an offensive corner for us, and he's in a position that he's one of the players for the defensive transition. He did it. Unfortunately, when they put the ball in behind, he tried to cut that ball and he lost in the first moment, but he showed the reaction to arrive in the box and try to get to help his teammates to don't concede the goal. Unfortunately, he tried with the knee and after the ball touch, not in his knee, touching them.
Just one on Aleksandar Mitrović. I'm privileged enough to have spoken to him many times, including here at the training ground. And he's only been, I think he's been sent off, this is his first sending off in 6 years for Fulham. I know how out of character that was. How much do you want everybody to see that? To know that actually he's not this sort of bad person that's been portrayed everywhere in the last couple of weeks.
Sometimes the people has this, or Mitro has this aura around him, or some people has this feeling about him. I'm being told to you many times here that Mitro is a big guy, but he's a big boy as well. He's a boy. He's not okay. He has that way to play football within the rules, of course, but he's a big boy, but he's a very good guy. Everyone respects him a lot and respect the people. I have to tell you, and it's true what you said, of course, 5-6 seasons in Fulham is his first red card for him. Probably most of the people didn't know that. Probably most of the people didn't notice that situation. And even if he's always a player that is brave inside, he's always with ambition and that passion to play the game and to try to win. He's always respectful with everyone, and you can see it in the relationship that he has with the referees as well. In that moment sometimes he's not that doesn't look that kind guy, but he really has a very good relationship with the referees every time at the end of the match, very good relationship with them. And a good example is what happened last Wednesday. I think it was last Wednesday when we had a meeting with Chris Kavanagh, myself, Mitro and John Moss. It's something that we knew what's happened in the game, and we asked them to have a meeting with them, and you can see clear. I didn't speak with Mitro until that meeting. I spoke after the match and after he went to the international audience. I didn't speak with him, but clear the respect and the connection between him and Chris Kavanagh in that situation. You can see that everyone respect Mitro, and the same with Mitro with officials as well. And John Moss was one of the persons in the meeting, and the way he praised ourselves for some things that we have been doing so far this season, on the pitch, on the touchline, the way we have been improving as well, because this connection with the referees and John Moss, our web as well, is not just now or the last week that we had. It's something that we have been doing so far this season. Probably was my third or fourth meeting with them. And when you see a person like John Moss that is always there, praising ourselves for the way we are trying to improve every time on the touchline, and our players as well, even after that incident, show the respect that everyone has in this business, and of course talk about Mitro as well as a professional, as a person.
I know you're busy, but how would you like to have more of these meetings going forward? Could that help stop what happened at Old Trafford?
Of course, they are important, because that John and our web, they are trying to do it as more as they can. Of course, it's not something that we are going to do every week, because we are talking about 20 clubs, not just one or two. But it's something that they are aware, and they try to have this connection, to have closer relationship, of course, of the pitch, because I think it will be helpful for everyone to know better, to understand more the things as well. And I think it's important. How often will be is more for them to decide than for us.
Last one, I'll talk football. You've got a big say in the relegation battle in the next couple of weeks. You take on Bournemouth this week, West Ham next week. You're not involved in the relegation battle, but the teams you are involved in it. Does that make your games difficult?
No, I think they are going to be even more difficult. It's not just the next 2 or 3. I think we have 11 games to play, and if you look, probably, I'm not sure, but 7, 8 they are with teams they are under us. What means they are in different positions, and they are fighting for something really important. Okay, but it will be the same when we are going to play with City at home, for example. They are going to fight. They are fighting for the title as well. But I agree with you. These type of games sometimes they are even more difficult than the other ones, because they are fighting for their lives, if I can say, in this way. And it's always tough. And when every game that they are going to play, they know that they can be decisive for for their goals. But at the same time, we are in a position that we have to be proud of, but we want more, and we want to fight for something. And if I can use the word that the sentence we have to fight for our lives, we are going to fight for our lives. It's not in a position that put a lot of pressure on ourselves, but we are capable to put different pressures from ourselves to fight for something important.